We have a full slate on the schedule for prediction markets this weekend. We have college football playoffs. We have the NFL. We have lots of political speeches to talk about. I mean, it's going to be a flurry of markets this weekend across Kalshi. So in this stream, we are just going to go over some plays across tonight's games, mention markets, announcers, etc., and really just try to find an edge over the weekend with so much going on, kind of cut through the noise and be able to take advantage and hopefully profit on the prediction market side this weekend. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right. And as always, guys, be sure to drop down below if you are on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And on X, hit that like button down below and also repost the streams if you're getting value out of the streams. That really helps us get in front of more people bullish on crypto and prediction markets. And in the chats, if you guys want to ask any questions, specific markets you want me to cover, I'm very happy to do so. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. This morning was a pretty busy slate. We had J.D. Vance, Caroline Leavitt, and Gavin Newsom speeches. I was able to come out on top on J.D. Vance and the Caroline Leavitt ones. I did not trade the Gavin Newsom because I really know nothing about his speeches. So I really try to keep it on track with the things that I listen to. Also, Mom Donnie had a speech this morning. I think we came out in profit on that as well. So waiting for a good amount of payouts there on the portfolio. And we are still actively trying to complete the 250 to 10K challenge. Obviously, the New Year's was a little bit of a slow time for, a lot of trading. So kind of resuming that heading into this year. And I think like we mentioned on the last video, I will go over and show every single month my profit calendar. So if you guys use Kalshi, you can check out Pickett. You can actually track your calendar every single day on your Kalshi account. It really does help kind of itemize and show you where you're profiting, the different plays and the mentions or sports, whatever you're profitable at. So I would definitely recommend that. And also a big shout out to Kalshi. Without Kalshi, we would not be, doing the streams every single week like we are, trying to deliver value across prediction markets. You can deposit $10 and Kalshi will give you $10 absolutely free. So they'll double your account if you trade $10 using the link down below. It is US only. So check out Kalshi down below, deposit and trade $10, and they will literally give you $10 absolutely free. So let's just jump into it. 𝗏𝗲, it is Kalshi time. It is time to hit the trenches and see what we can find for a really packed weekend, like I said. Now, before we get going here, there are a few things going on right now in the sports world that I am tracking. So first and foremost, I do have a position here in the Real Madrid Atletico match. So right now I have 70 shares of yes at 70 cents. Right now they are up 2-1. It's the 82nd minute against Atletico. So I am hoping to close this one out in profit. We will see what happens. I think that Real Madrid can hold on, but I will be monitoring this situation very closely. And on top of that, let's see here, go to the portfolio. I also have currently open no to 3.5 goals on the Arsenal match. It is 0-0. Almost halftime. I took a pretty juicy line there, but at the same time, I think it was a pretty good position to take. The fact that they were even offering 3.5 goals, I did have to go ahead and take the no on 3.5 goals. Now, let's get into tonight's slate. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have a packed weekend, as mentioned. If we were to go over, let's just start on the sports side. We go over to football, and we will start with really what all eyes are on this weekend is college football playoffs and NFL playoffs. Right now, we can see here Miami and Ole Miss tonight, Oregon, Indiana. We have the Rams and Panthers, Packers, Bears, Buffalo, Jacksonville, San Francisco, Philadelphia. So a lot of games going on, but we really aren't focusing on the games. Obviously, I'll be watching a lot of these with intrigue. I'm a huge football fan, but I don't really see much of an edge as to coming in here and trying to predict these games straight up. However, we can go over to the mention side of things. And this is where we can really find an edge. So tonight we have Miami versus Ole Miss. We can go ahead and take a look here at the offerings. We see here freshman transfer, safety, State Farm, Lane Kiffin. A lot of these will probably be hit. Let's just break down some of these strikes down the list here. So freshman transfer, safety, State Farm, Lane Kiffin. I think those 5 will hit, but there's no value in taking 99, 97, 93. So State Farm will be said because it's the name of the stadium. I think that the announcers will absolutely name drop the stadium. We have Lane Kiffin. He, left the program before the college football playoff started. And I do think that they will absolutely mention his name because they are making a run without their head coach, Lane Kiffin. So that will definitely be said. Moving on down the list here, though, I think that there's some interesting ones here. Heisman definitely could be said, because the winner of this game either takes on Indiana, led by Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza, or, the Oregon Ducks. So they might mention the Heisman word. I think that's an interesting one at 71%. I definitely think turf is interesting. They are playing on turf tonight. And just above else, okay, I will say every time I take the turf strike, I get a pretty rough go of it. If they don't play on turf, I'll say no to turf. They say turf. Whenever they do play on turf and I say yes on turf, they don't say turf. So it's interesting. I am going to sit that one out for now. The ones that I'm really bullish on in this game, and it is kind of expensive. It's 83 cents, but it is a high stakes college football playoff game. And these teams are well coached, regardless if Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss. Miami has a great coach. They can't commit stupid penalties. And the stupidest penalty would be a roughing the passer call. And right now, it is 85%. So you would have to go in pretty heavy for an ROI. But what I like to do is during the game, these odds do change. So I'm looking at roughing the passer in a lot of these games this weekend. I will be honest. That is the one strike that I absolutely want to try and take a stab at, is finding some roughing the passer, value tonight. So anything I would say in the 70s, I would take. Right now it's at 83 cents. So maybe we can get some yes money coming through and take advantage of roughing the passer. No. Otherwise, when I look at this game, I think that, no good. Are they going to miss a field goal? That could be an interesting one. Super Bowl. I don't know why they'd be talking about the Super Bowl. When you think about alumni from these two colleges, AJ Brown is the defending Super Bowl champion. If, they could mention his name, but I just don't see where that would come up. Super Bowl no to me has some value. I kind of like that. And I'm going to go 25 to return 36 on no Super Bowl. It's the college football playoff. I think they want to put the shine on their own product, not the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is not in Arizona. That's where this game's being played. That could be the only reason I could see that mentioned, or the fact that, alumni for Ole Miss and Miami are competing for the Super Bowl this year. So we will have to kind of see if that's going to play out or not. I'm just going to take no to Super Bowl. I don't love anything in that game. I will go heavy on roughing the passer if it goes below 80 cents. So that's one I absolutely would take, but we have to get better pricing on that. Moo Evans, what's going on? Good to see you. Prediction legend or prediction wizard. I'm trying to work my way up there. But that's why we're doing this, trading the account live, trying to get up that 250 to 10K challenge, the 250 deposit into 10K. So that is absolutely something we are trying to do. You can call me a wizard when we accomplish that. Let's see what other people are thinking. Yeah, so Oregon and Indiana tomorrow night. This is another college football playoff game. Heisman's at 99%, safety 99%. A lot of these are absolutely going to be said. This one's in Atlanta, I believe. I think it's the Peach Bowl tomorrow night. And we have Indiana versus Oregon. Same kind of thing. I would go heavy on roughing the passer. These are two very well-coached teams, and 85 cents is a little bit expensive. I would like to get something a little more valuable than that. Turf at 67%, yes. Let's see what other people are thinking on this one here. We can see no to wind and windy. So we lose on Kirk saying indoors tonight, so no wind. Luckily, there's no wind in the stadium tonight because that was a close one. Yeah, an interesting strike on all of these games that are inside is wind. They usually do mention wind on indoor games, like that there's no wind on this kick or whatever the case is. That could be an interesting market. These are just so efficient right now, these college football mention markets. It's kind of hard to pick out crazy value, especially now that there's only a couple left. Like it's these two, then the national championship. So these prices are extremely fluid and extremely efficient at this point in time. Same kind of thing. Super Bowl's less expensive here, or it's more expensive here on the no, 76 cents. I would like to take a stab at maybe yes on wind and windy. It's 42%. I could totally see someone saying that tonight or tomorrow night. I'm going to go look at the price on the Miami and Ole Miss game. What's going on, Adrian? Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for coming in to the stream. Let's see. Miami, Ole Miss tonight. Windy is 46%. So it's basically even money for them to say no, wind's not a factor on this kick or whatever the case is. 10 returns 20. I'm going to take a stab that they're going to say wind or windy. Just 10 to win 20. So double our money on that trade if it does come through. Nothing crazy. I don't see a ton of value until the game's going on. So the one thing, we can't do these live very much because I can't play the audio of the football game on YouTube. So that's something that's prohibited. That's the main platform that we stream on. So I just can't do that when it comes down to just, guidelines. YouTube does not enjoy when you stream live events, especially something that's going to be on ESPN. So the biggest value I can talk about on these markets, the mention markets for announcers, is trade them in game. Like if some of these high priced strikes like Heisman draft, Lane Kiffin, if they start trickling down because they haven't been said by like the third quarter, that's where you can find value. So above else, pregame picks are good and everything like that, if you can find value, but never reach on, I really want this one. I don't care if it's overpriced. I'm just going to take it. Two things you have to remember. You can do limit orders. So limit order. You can pick how many contracts you want. You can set the price. And if it ever hits that price, you're going to get filled. And you can set an expiration, whether you want it pregame or whether you want it during the game. So you can treat this just like crypto trading, and the fact that you can do limit orders. So never reach on a price. If you like a market, wait for the game to start. And sometimes these prices are very, very active whenever it comes to the in-game prices. There are a couple of NBA markets tonight as well. Let me go here. So right now, let me check in on the games tonight. It says Miami, Chicago. I think that is tonight, but I'm going to double check. Yeah, Miami, Chicago. So Miami at Chicago. The United Center, that's definitely going to get set at 92 cents, 94 cents. All-Star has been one. I'm not going to lie. I have been bonding All-Star because All-Star voting has been going on. People are getting, voted into their, in this instance, it's going to be Bam Adebayo probably talked about as an all-star. Like that's just what it's going to be. So all-star voting is going on, and the all-star game is around the corner. As corny as the NBA all-star game is, and as meaningless as it is, they have been saying all-star pretty consistently. So I've been treating that like a bond on certain games. You have to make sure that there's all-stars on the teams. Don't go on Pacers and Hornets because, LaMelo Ball is probably an all-star, but I wouldn't put the money on a game like that. You want to have good teams that have, potential to have a few all-stars. You don't want to just rely on one player. But when you look through here, currently injury will be said because they have the Bulls have a couple of players injured. Ankle, playoff could be interesting here. Obviously, the Bulls aren't great, but they are right on the cusp of the play-in, and the Heat are on the bubble of the playoffs. So You could look at the playoff race if you are an announcer. So that's one that's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go playoff, nothing crazy. I'm going to go 20 on playoff to return 28. So a 40% return on that trade. The thing is, on tonight's stuff, I'm not in love with a lot of these pregame prices, and that's the problem for the most part. There are a few things I did want to talk about. One thing we're going to do in an upcoming show, now this would just be a pre-recorded video, is I want to jump in and vibe code, as they're calling it, on Claude, a prediction market software kind of thing. So a tracker on certain events. Now we can do sports, we can do politics, etc. But what 𝗏𝗏𝗏 did here, which I absolutely love, is regarding the Golden Globes this coming week. So he's put together a Claude software that's giving predictions on what's going to happen across these different markets, which is really interesting. So I'm going to try to put together a pre-record of us putting together on Claude an active prediction markets software that we can actually use, plug in, and hopefully churn out some profits using. So that's one thing I am looking at doing. It's a bummer that there's no, like the Trump speeches have been pretty lackluster. We have what will Trump say this week? What will Trump say during his Fox News appearance? So this is in 5 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look at this then. What we'll do is Trump's appearance tonight on Fox News, live or pre-recorded. So these pre-recorded markets have not been friendly for people whenever they jump in. So because they cut out a lot of what people say. I wasn't able to find regularly airs live coverage, what it means for tonight. It's a one-time interview segment that's part of that often can be pre-recorded or aired later. Yeah, I'm scared that this here would be pre-recorded. Let's see. China, Russia, Democrat, Somali daycares. Craziest scandal of 2026 already hit. Let's see. I am going to go to, I think this is Twitter. Yep. Let's see. Usually, Trump Fox News. We'll be able to find this data pretty quickly, I believe. Let's see. You know what? Actually, I am going to search up. Tyrell always keeps track of what mention markets are going on. Here we go. Absolute GOAT, by the way, 100K in profit he hit this week, and it's mainly on mention markets. So next political mention for today is Trump on Hannity. Reporting is that Hannity just entered the West Wing a short time ago, so that is likely being filmed now or very soon. So that's the thing. This might be pre-recorded. Depending on how much of the interview they show, I can see a pathway for a lot of yes. If it's split into two-part, it will change the equation to guessing what they will air today versus tomorrow. Some of these strikes, fraud, Greenland, trillion. I mean, he loves his billions and trillions. California hottest. Crypto Bitcoin, no, is almost a certainty, but it's at 94 cents. This has been the best value. He never talks about crypto and Bitcoin in these. So that's been a really good value pick, even at 94 cents. And if that goes any better, like in the 80s, I would absolutely take that. China, Russia, Democrat, Somali. Honestly, it's just not a good return. Every 10 returns you. Yeah, a lot of these strikes are just really high priced, which is tough. Once again, and it's a pre-record, which is going to make this a little more complicated. Definitely is going to be a yes fest. Like all of these at the top here, China, Russia, Democrat, Somalia, Somalian, whatever the case is, Biden, Maduro, he's absolutely going to say all of those. So if you have the balls and you want to put the money up at those strike prices for small returns, absolutely you can. At 86 cents, for example, 50 only returns you about 12% on your investment there. So that is, it's a big risk for a small return, but I think a lot of these are absolutely going to get said. I can't find value in taking this higher prices on a pre-record when they could cut out so many from the market. Shinobi Obi says, prediction markets are going to ruin a lot of lives. I mean, sports gambling's done the same thing, but at the end of the day, prediction markets, you can actually find an edge. If you listen to speeches like Trump and Mamdani are very predictable speakers. So if you can come through, study their transcripts using stuff like mention metrics, absolutely goated tool. You can figure out what they say. You can look up the topics of what the speeches are. If you're just going to go bet sports using Kalshi or Polymarket, yeah, that's going to be the same exact thing as quote unquote gambling. But at the end of the day, you can do research and find an edge in certain areas. And a lot of people are doing that and taking advantage of these mentioned markets currently and making a lot of money. Anything can ruin lives. Crypto trading can ruin lives. Options trading has ruined lives. I mean, it's a lot of things have ruined lives. It's not a brand new thing. Boom. So Real Madrid hit. Anyone who joined at the beginning of the stream could have literally taken 80% with 10 minutes left in the game. So that was an easy strike there. Real Madrid 2 and Atletico Madrid 1. Yeah, Shinobi, it's just, prediction markets, it's a new way of trading. Some people look at it as gambling. It can be gambling. You know what I mean? Like it can be. But, I think there is a little more edge to be had versus other forms of gambling. Let's just say that. And then Arsenal Liverpool is still 0-0. I have it pulled up here on my side. So that's looking good so far. Anyone who jumped in and took that Real Madrid trade right at the beginning, that was it was pretty last minute because the game was already going on, but that could have been nice. Honestly, the slate tonight is just kind of rough. And a Trump pre-record, I'm not willing to go in at a bunch of 80% price points. Right now, like I said, now we're pending this payout for Real Madrid. We did profit on that 𝗓𝗨𝗦𝗧𝗏 market, waiting on a couple payouts from announcer markets last night. Let's see. So tonight, Miami Ole Miss, I have no to Super Bowl and I have yes to wind/windy. I think that they'll mention there's no wind in the stadium whenever they're kicking off or whatever the case is. And then Super Bowl, I just don't know why they would mention the Super Bowl tonight during the college football semifinal. It's one of the biggest games of the college football season. I don't know why they would showcase the higher levels premier product when this is college football's premier product. And they definitely want people to focus on that. I also have them to say playoff in Miami and Chicago tonight in the NBA, because I think they're both in the playoff race and they're definitely going to mention that. Here's how the playoff race is shaping up. They'll show the standings of the Eastern Conference. I think those are pretty good strikes for this evening. Locked in. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. Great time last night as well. Locked in and I are locked in real life. We're prediction market. We're talking prediction markets in crypto 24/7. Yeah, that's really what I'm looking at for tonight. I want to live trade these football games. So whenever Miami and Ole Miss are going on, I want to jump in and take some of these strikes. I want to see if some of these high prices can come down if they're not said by the second or third quarter, or I want to jump in and I hope that roughing the passer right now at 83 cents. Hang on. This was at 85 when we started the show. That's at 85. There's not enough shares for me to fill. Yeah, same thing. Roughing the passer is what I'm looking at heaviest tonight. If I can get a good price on roughing the passer, I'm going in roughing the passer no on Ole Miss and Miami. Otherwise, I do love no Super Bowl. Yes, wind/windy. And then, like I said, the word playoff in Miami and Chicago. That's really what I'm looking at right now for the college games. Now, we can go look at the NFL and we can kind of take a look if there's any value in those mentions. And what I could do is, even if it's not on YouTube, oh, there we go. Kalshi crashed out on me. Even if it's not on YouTube, I could stream on Saturday on X and just go over some of these mention markets for the NFL at that point in time. But let's see here. First game of the weekend's Rams and Panthers. Let's just see what they're pricing out some of these, because if there's not a lot of value, I'm just not even going to worry about it. MVP, yes, that's definitely going to be said because Matthew Stafford is probably second in line in the MVP race. That's probably a pretty good strike. It just depends on how much you can get filled at that price. 83, yeah. I mean, it's like a 17% return. Not too bad. Cam Newton, yeah, first to playoff appearance. It might show last time the Panthers won the division. Cam Newton was the quarterback. This. That's a pretty good strike. I could see them saying Cam Newton. Uptown / that's probably a Carolina thing. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Roughing the passer, 80 cents. I mean, that's a better price than the other games. That's for sure. And these are two disciplined, well-coached teams. I could probably wait on that even and get the same price and not have to lock up cash. I love roughing the passer here. Rams and Carolina, really good coach teams. You can't make mistakes in the playoffs like a roughing the passer. And I think that that's a pretty good strike there. Pro Bowl / Pro Bowlers probably going to hit. Both of these teams have a few Pro Bowlers on their roster. Schedule, maybe they show the television schedule. They wouldn't talk about the team's schedule in the regular season anymore. It's the playoffs. Schedule, yes, probably hits though, because they're probably going to show the national TV schedule, which they always do. So that's another one. I'm a roughing the passer, no Maxi. And there's been times where roughing the passer occurs in the game and the announcers just don't say the words roughing the passer. So I do love that. I feel like I can conserve cash though and probably get the same price right before kickoff on Sunday or on Saturday morning. So as you guys can see, I'm looking for a lot of value on roughing the passer on these football mentions. I think that it's playoff time. And if these teams want any chance to win, they can't make a simple mistake like a roughing the passer. It looks like some of our markets are currently paying out. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I'll take that for 50. No roughing the passer. Yeah, that's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to do a little more research on tonight's Trump mention market and see if I can find some value. If I can, I will be posting it on my X. My X account is just at 𝗧𝗨𝗏𝗃, and you can check out anything that I update there here in a couple hours because pre-records are tough. I kind of want to dig into a little more research and not bore you guys without giving you some selections. So if you want to check out my X account at 𝗧𝗨𝗏𝗃, I'll probably have some strikes for tonight's Trump speech, and I will post those later on my X account. The one thing I can tell you guys for Trump speeches is this software here, Mention Metrics, it is easily the best for Trump speeches. If we just went back, let's just go back to Trump. What will Trump say this week? No, Fox News. I just want to show you guys how active and how good this tool is. So we can look here. Let's just say, so like I said, I've been doing a lot of, not at this price, 94 cents is really expensive for crypto, no. But let's just say crypto is the word we want to track. We want to track Donald Trump. When's the last time this man even said crypto? He only says it 1 out of every 5 speeches, basically. 0.2 mentions every single speech. But you can go here to other words like Biden. He says the word Biden 3 times every speech. And you can see all the transcripts here. Mention Metrics, you get 5 free searches every month, or you can do a paid subscription to it. I'm not partnered with them at all. I just think the tool is really good if you want to, just take a look at some data. Like, let's just go to Democrat. That's a good one. Democrat. So this is the type of stuff I kind of look at whenever it comes to, he says the word Democrat 3.3 times every single speech. You can do this for every single term on here. China, Russia, fraud, ICE, tariff. Yeah, tariff's a good one. Let's take a look at tariff because he certainly doesn't say it every time he talks. But he does love his tariffs. I mean, 4.5 times per speech, sometimes because he mentions it 18 times in a single speech. That's kind of racking up that number. But this is definitely one of the best tools for mention markets out there. and would absolutely highly suggest at least trying out the free product, because it has made me money across the Trump markets, Mamdani markets. And by the way, Mamdani is doing so many speeches. I think we're going to have to start making a little bit of an adjustment. A lot of these speeches recently have been happening in the morning. So to kind of spice up these streams and make them a little more fun and engaging, where we're live trading and you can kind of see what goes into that while we're listening to a speech, we'll try to schedule up the next Kalshi live stream during a live speech, because they're just so much more fun that way. Here in about 3 weeks time, we will stream the Jerome Powell FOMC meeting. We did that last month and we did profit pretty well on that. Trump also had a speech on the same day. So we'll do that in the coming week. I would say over the next few days, I'll figure out when some speeches are and we'll line up a live stream during those. I just feel like they're much more fun and engaging, and we can live trade these markets together. I'm going to wrap it up at this point in time, just because some of these mentioned markets, the prices are not going to be, I think, favorable until these are in progress, like live. If the Fox News thing airs and it feels like he's just going on a yes rampage, we can start taking some yes strikes. But currently speaking, we did win that Real Madrid trade, so that did just get paid out. We have no to over 3.5 goals in Liverpool Arsenal. This is now trading at 95, so that's looking at pretty solid. We have Super Bowl no tonight in Miami Ole Miss. We have wind/windy yes in this game. I think they're going to say wind is not a factor. We have yes to playoff in Miami, Chicago tonight in the NBA. And then last but not least, we have no roughing the passer in the Rams and Panthers game on Saturday morning. I'm actively looking for roughing the passers all weekend. That is something I want to take advantage of. These teams can't make a mistake, like I said. So that's going to be it for today's stream, guys. Like the video down below, subscribe to the channel for more. Every single week here, we will be streaming prediction markets. And like I said, going forward, we're going to try to line these up during live events. I think it's just much more fun that way. But regardless, guys, like the video, subscribe, like the tweet or repost on X as well. And for some Trump selections tonight, I will post them on my X account at 𝗧𝗥𝗏𝗧. I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and stay bullish, my friends.